On this week's episode, we talk about Black Monday for NFL coaches, a controversial overtime goal, and both the New York Yankees and the Buffalo Bills make history. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Points Penalties Season 2. For all of our listeners, we'd like to remind you to please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. For our viewers on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to our channel using the PMP icon on the bottom right. And no matter how you check out Points and Penalties, give us a like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Points Penalties. Once again, I'm Josh, and with me are my co-hosts Kevin and Jesse. Peter's away today as his little one has finally been welcomed into the world. And as he says, he's got bigger fish to fry than doing this podcast tonight. So without further ado, Kev, let's start with you. What are you drinking?
Well, so far I am having myself an Electric Unicorn. It's a white IPA. It's out of Phillips Brewing and Malting Company. Had my first sips prior to doing so it's good. I like it. Very tasty. Again, we have ourselves.
What's the percentage?
Fancy.
Oh yeah, the percentage. Oh my goodness, 6.5%.
Oh shit.
So Jesse, I see you're feeling a lot better.
I sure am, bud.
Yeah, you're not sick this time, no?
No, man.
No, good. So what are you drinking, Jess?
I am drinking Jumbo from Railway City Brewing there in St. Thomas. And I got a 6.8%.
Ooh.
So I brought it. I'm going to try it right now. That's a decent IPA. Yosh, what are you having?
Oh, my beer is from not too far down the road from yours, Jess. Yours is St. Thomas. Mine's Sarnia. It's not too far along. Refined Fool, and it's called Van Full of Weirdos Juicy IPA. I'm pretty sure somebody had this last season, but that was last season, so it don't matter. It's a citrusy little IPA, and it's pretty good. Apparently, I'm the bitch of the week at 6.2%.
Oh, wow. All right. It's a good thing I didn't pull out the 4.5%.
Well, you weren't the one having the baby, were you, bud?
No, I've already had two. That's fine by me. So the New York Yankees made history this week by hiring Rachel Balkovec to be their minor league manager, which is, I think, is pretty sick. Now, I believe there's been another person that has been doing well in regards to the baseball, and that would have been King Ang. She's also a GM in regards to the Miami Marlins. What are your thoughts here on the hiring of Rachel at the New York minor league manager?
I think this is great for the game. Baseball's moving forward. That's a low A minor league team, but good for her. I think she was an assistant elsewhere within more farm systems, but it's good that she's finally getting her first go, and hopefully more continue to come.
It shouldn't matter whether she's a woman or a man. It should be the best person available for the job. So of course I'm excited and I'm happy for Rachel here and for other females in sports to move up, but this shouldn't be a story. You know what I mean? Like we should already be past
history, though.
It's making history, but we should already be past this point. We should already have many women in coaching positions in all different leagues, because it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you are the right person for the job, then you should be there, and that's in all aspects of employment. Period. It doesn't matter. Just directed at sports here. So obviously I care, but I wish that we were already past this point in that there should already be lots of women involved in sports. And there is more and more and more every, it seems like every year there's definitely been more, especially over the last couple. So this is great. I do really, like this hiring. Again, just like you said, it's a low A affiliate. I believe she's going to be the manager of the Tampa team. I can't remember their nickname. But it's great. It's really good, and more women are going to come up through the ranks. And again, as I had said about some other topics in the past, I wish we were already past this point. But it's great that we are at this point now, and I can't wait to see what Rachel does in the future, and what pathway this leads for other women coming down the pipe here.
No, I agree with both of you guys, man. I mean, it's great to see, but like you said, Yosh, I mean, it's just something that we should probably get over. I mean, there should be more of them coming on through. You're going to see a lot more coming on through, and I don't think it's not going to say a big deal for them to do so, but it's just going to be the norm. And I think that they're going to start doing some well things.
And that it needs to be the norm, Kev. It needs to be the norm. And there's no reason, other than, using just our old adage of of MLB being the old boys club, right? And so it needs to change. And this is a great step forward. It's just too bad that it is taken until 2022 to happen.
Yeah, I think we should celebrate this because this is huge.
Oh, it's absolutely a celebratory moment. I'm just saying that we should have been celebrating this type of achievement years ago. That's all.
Agreed for sure.
No, I know that Kim, though, she has World Series rings because she's been doing GMing for quite some time now. She's been doing it with the Yankees and so on and so forth. So, kudos to her.
That's absolutely phenomenal too. I think that there's a big difference from that old boys club adage when it's a front office person versus somebody on the field.
And exact, yeah, because you got to have kind of like the locker room too. But in baseball, managers, they don't need to get people riled up because everyone's playing for themselves for the most part in baseball. It is a team sport, but it's more one of those individual team sports than say hockey, football, right? Even basketball. You gotta command the locker room. You gotta be the key thing is being a really good leader, and I'm sure she has that. But this is a great start, right? It'll be interesting to see how it goes in other sports. Like we've already seen, like other coaches in NFL, and refs there now are actually like there isn't like a head ref yet, I don't think. But
no, not yet.
There's the sideline judges and stuff like that. So
and in the NBA too, correct? You have female referees.
Yep, there is 100%.
Oh yeah, I remember. What's his name? Djokovic was trying to hit on one the one time. It was hilarious.
See, that's not supposed to happen. Like,
No.
If you're at a bar, that's one thing. Not on the court.
She smiled. She gave him a smile. It was corny. It was super corny.
I mean, it's Djokovic. I wouldn't think that it's not corny. Or Jokic. Sorry, it's a Djokovic. We're not talking about the Joker here. We're talking about the other Joker.
All right. So another topic we got here is all the coaches that were fired on Black Monday. So that we're just going to go over some of the vacancies that happened here. So the major one we all know about, we've all talked about. Peter got his little sunshine glory that he was right, that he was going to finish with below 500 record. And I think we all agree we don't see him coming back to NFL unless he restarts his career in the NCAA. So Urban Meyer was fired on the 16th of December. First stuff we've covered before. Interim coach Darryl Bevell came in. He didn't fare much better at all. Denver Broncos Vic Fangio. Now he's been there for 3 seasons, and he had a sub 500 record there. Not great at all. Didn't make the postseason at once. Big name that was let go was Minnesota Vikings Mike Zimmer. And he finished with a 72, 56, and 1 over 8 seasons. And he made the playoffs in 2015, 17, and 19 with 2 playoff wins. This season, he finished below 500. Yosh, your favorite coach?
Yeah.
Matt Nagy of the Bears.
So glad he's gone.
He finished above 500 for his 4 seasons there.
Yeah, not good enough.
And he had coach of the year.
That's because he went from fucking awful to horrible. That's a little bit of That's a step up, it's a step
He
up.
made the playoffs, man.
Yep, so did Mike Zimmer.
Although he couldn't get a win in the playoffs, and he is in history as the double doink,
Mhm.
Mr. Parkey.
Thanks for reminding me, boys.
So another guy that was fired, rather shocking, from the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, with a record of 24-25. So he did finish below 500 in 3 seasons. Now, the cool thing, what happened this year was he started the season 1-7 before going on a 7-game winning streak, becoming the first team in NFL history to have a 7-game winning streak and a 7-game winning streak and a 7-game losing streak in the same season. And Flores never made the playoffs, but he still finished with a 500 record this year, even with that 7-game losing streak. Joe Judge from the Giants is gone. Not really a surprise. 10-23 record. And he's been the 3rd consecutive coach for the Giants to be fired after just 2 seasons. That's Ben McAdoo, who didn't finish. He did make the playoffs, but didn't finish above 500. And Pat Shurmur, who I think he's had a couple times he's had coaching jobs, but he did not do anything that great with the Giants. Houston Texans, David Cauley was fired after a 4-13 record, 1 year. This one was a shocker. And then the infamous John Gruden was resigned on October 11th for lewd comments from ways back when. And I got a couple records up there for when he had been with Oakland and Las Vegas and Tampa, where he won the Super Bowl. And the interim coach, Rich Bisaccia, finished with a 7-6 record. And they lost to the Bengals on Saturday night. So my question to you guys is, who in this list do you think deserved not to be fired? And you can pick more than one.
So we've got 2, maybe 3, and the 4th one I'm kind of like, what the fuck? And I'm only saying what the fuck is because he was told he wasn't going to go anywhere. So what the fuck is the Giants' Joe Judge? They had initially said that they were not going to be moving any coaches, firing, that type of thing, and then they turn around the next day and fire him. He wasn't very good, but it's also, you got to look at the execs here. You fired a coach after 2 years, the last 6 years. You know what I mean? Like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. So what? Like, you got to give some guys a bit of a chance here. And I don't think that Joe Judge is maybe the answer for the Giants, nor is the quarterback they have at this point. But and even injury prone Saquon is tough, man. Like you expect to put a lot of yards behind Saquon, and when he can only do it for half a year every year, that's definitely makes it tough. So this one was kind of a what the fuck, just from the sense of they said that they weren't going to fire anybody, and then they did.
I mean, like, you can say that, but NFL teams do that all the time. They say one thing and
Fair
go
enough.
right back against it, right? So
Yep.
Otherwise, to me, he wasn't his conferences were terrible, calling out Washington clown show and all this stuff like that. And
Fair enough, yeah.
then they lose. So he there was other things that were happening in the Meadowlands that was really weird too. I believe he made them like practice outside in like cold weathers, just like how when he was in New England and stuff like that, because he's part of that Belichick tree. And that's kind of the thing here with someone else that was fired from that tree. They had issues with GMs and people above them. Like they're really hard nosed. They try to be Bill, which I get it. He's the best coach to ever coach, but you have to establish a winning culture before you go all Bill Belichick, I think.
For sure. Another guy for me is David Cauley. I just don't think he got a fair shake. The upper brass gave him fuck all on the field, and he puts together a shit season, but with nothing to do it with. How do you expect a guy to go better than 4-13 when he's got nothing.
Yeah, it was brutal what they put on for players they put on the field for him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, their starting quarterback was Tyrod Taylor at the beginning of the year. And then I don't even know who played after he got hurt.
He was actually, if you look at the statistics, he was the best rookie quarterback this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go. Didn't know that, but anyway, you lose JJ Watt, you lose your superstar Deshaun Watson, by no real fault there on that one from the front office, but still they gave Cauley nothing to put on the field. He still came up with 4 wins, and a couple of them were pretty big victories. They're against pretty good teams, if I remember.
And they almost came up with a 5th against the Tennessee Titans to knock them out of that first round bye. They made it interesting, that's for sure.
So to me, his coaching here was not the issue. It was the quality of player on the field, and that is tough to pin strictly on the head coach.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one.
And then my last one before I turn over to I guess Kev, see if you want to say something. Of course, I'm fine with Bears things, so I don't need to say that. But Flores, I think I thought that was a crazy firing. I was shocked. I thought he did pretty well. I thought that now that Tua is back healthy and he's got some experience under his belt, it seemed like, sure, the beginning of the season, like you said, Jess, 1-7 wasn't great, but their 7-game winning streak was phenomenal. They lost that 8th game, and then they came back and won the game after that. So I thought they were pointed in the right direction. Obviously need a little bit more help on both sides of the ball, but what team can't use more help, right? So I figured for sure they'd keep him around, even if it was, I'm not sure if his contract was up or what have you, but I would have stuck it out for another year if I was the Dolphins head brass there.
That one's a shocker to me too, because he is a great defensive coach. What I read was that there was a lot of more infighting here. Again, he's part of the Belichick tree. He was fighting with the management or the GM. I think his name's Chris Greer, and with the owner as well. They wanted them to go after Deshaun Watson there. Because we heard about the rumors that happened midway through the season. And he says that there was also a quote out there that he'd rather have Mac Jones over Tua, the other Alabama quarterback. And he didn't get that because he doesn't make those decisions. He just gets the players he's dealt and puts the team together and tries to win football games. But this one was a shocker to me. But again, if I get like you got to push back to the brass here and there, but saying like Tua is a number 5 overall pick. Like, yeah, he hasn't looked great, but he hasn't made a whole lot of mistakes. So I don't know where his future's going, but he still has a lot to prove. But he looks like he can play as long as he can stay healthy. And that was the thing, was their O-line was terrible. But he had that defense humming, Flores, and that was his specialty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. That one would kind of shock me too, and I think he didn't deserve to be fired. But now it looks like the Bears might get him, right?
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, they at least interviewed him. So, and for me, that's the. Actually, I was going to ask a second question after that is who you thought maybe some of these names would go.
All right. Well, I'll answer some of those. I think I got a couple that I think might happen. But Kev, what are your thoughts on here?
I had the same 2 that Josh just talked about. I mean, Foles and the Giants judge. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine, and the Giants, he was a little upset with that firing, and I just give these guys chances. I mean, the records kind of speak for themselves there, guys. I mean,
the other one that I thought, sorry, go ahead, Kev.
No, I was just going to say, there's nothing else for me to say because you both basically threw it out of my mouth as well. So, I mean, I just totally agree with the both of you in regards to those 2 firings.
The other one that's kind of, I don't know about is Vic Fangio. Like he is another guy, he's, good coach, but like he wasn't really given a whole lot to work with. Like no quarterback. I mean, Locke was shit. But Teddy B is Teddy B. Or yeah, Teddy B, yeah. like you're
And I think they had Wacko Joe Flacco the year before.
right.
Drew Lock.
So like not a whole lot there. Like defensively, the Broncos have been strong, over the last handful of years, but then they just got rid of, or not got rid of, but traded Von Miller. So, that's a big loss on the defensive front. So it's a tough one for Fangio to get booted when, yeah, he had more talent than the Giants or the Texans, but I mean, I guess you look at his record, 19-30 over 3 seasons, you could see that was better than the other two guys, but not by a whole lot. And I'd still think that Fangio is a pretty good coach. So maybe some extra personnel could have helped him there too. But so Jess, where do you think some of these guys are going?
Okay, well, I'm not sure where Brian Flores is. He's a hot name right now. One for the David Cauley, which I thought was a shocker for them to fire him after 1 season, no talent surrounding him. But I thought that they're going to be going and looking at Gerard Mayo or Gerard Mayo, I think his name is. The old linebacker from New England who's on New England staff. I think that's where they're going to go because Houston, Texas always been known as Little New England because they got Bill O'Brien beforehand. They got a GM in there that was from the New England staff or was part of their executive group or something like that. And I believe they're going to go get this guy. So there's another coach from Belichick's tree that's going to be out there. And I don't know why the Houston Texans are going to try and do this twice over. It seems ridiculous to me.
Is Gerard Mayo currently coaching?
Yeah. Yeah, he's I would think he's like D-line or something or not D-line, linebacker.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So not a whole lot of experience coaching in general because he didn't retire that long ago.
No, not at all.
And then to throw him in there as a potential head coach, that's pressure.
You could say the same thing about Vrabel, though.
Yeah, fair enough. And he's been a fucking great coach. So
he's been an amazing coach.
Yep, fair enough.
And so this is where it might work better. And I think Vrabel didn't start on any of New England staff. I think he was with I don't know. I don't remember. But
sounds like a challengeable moment if any of us had an idea where.
Well, you can definitely try and challenge me and figure out who and guess where, because I mean, like,
yeah, that's the problem.
It could still be New England. Like I honestly, I don't think it was, but I don't think he was ever on their coaching staff. I think it was Casey's, but he went from playing underneath both really good coaches and Andy Reid and Belichick, and he went from there to the Titans job and has flourished. So the other one, you got, what's the other? Bieniemy, I believe, the KC OC.
Yep.
Now, where I think he might go is Miami, maybe. I think Miami's looking to get an offensive guy. And then what would be really slick if the Jaguars did it, doesn't have a whole lot of experience, but with the Jaguars go with Brian Leftwich.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be huge because he was the quarterback there for a few years, did pretty good, got them to the playoffs, I believe. And like, there's not much you can look at to the Jags being successful, but like there was a time with Byron Leftwich at the helm.
Byron Leftwich, I think, has the slowest release of all time in the NFL. It is so slow. He winds up like he's throwing a fucking fastball every single time. It just takes so long.
It starts off at your like knees, like he holds it down.
Yeah,
down there. He doesn't hold it up to have a
wrap it around. It's way back here. Yeah, I always remember watching him and laughing. And who was the other guy too? There was another guy that was the same way, Byron Leftwich, and the guy that succeeded him.
Bortles?
No, maybe it was preceded him. There was two guys that were almost identical type players for Jacksonville.
Jacksonville has had a few quarterbacks come through there. So.
Yeah, fair enough. That's probably why none of us can remember.
Yeah, nothing really memorable. Another big coaching name. I don't know where it's going to go. Is Kellen Moore. I think he might get hired somewhere, and maybe Debo from the OC from the Bills. I think he might have a chance. But a lot of coaches like to get or a lot of teams like to get their coaches early and then start their next season. Yeah, I don't like waiting for all the guys that made the playoffs that are probably pretty good coaches. And they don't want to get them because they don't want to wait, which is I think it's very stupid.
Yeah, unless it's a super thin year, then maybe for coaching staff, but it usually never is. So I don't see why you wouldn't wait. You know, like the Bears have been talking about like all kinds of, we've interviewed this guy, interviewed that guy. That's great. But they haven't hired a GM yet. So wouldn't you think you should hire your GM so that he has a hand in hiring your head coach so that you can all be on the same page when you're going to get players and so on and so forth? That would be my thought process. But
that's the thing too, especially if you're going with Brian Flores, because he had issues with the old GM. So you're going to hire the coach, and then he gets to pick his players, and you get to hire the GM afterwards. And
right,
like who has the final decision, right?
Yeah, who's the boss exactly? So yeah, it's interesting the way they seem to be going at it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll end up hiring the GM first, but it just seems like they're looking to hire the coach first. But enough about me.
This week's MVP for season 2, episode 2 of P&P is TJ Watt, who tied Michael Strahan's NFL single season sack record with 23 seconds left in the first half between the Steelers and Baltimore, or Steelers and Ravens, I guess. So it's tied at 22.5. That is the record. And that's huge because he did that in 15 games due to injury. So he missed it on 2 games, but he still managed to do it. Strahan did it in 16. So this is very impressive. And he almost beat the record. He thought he beat the record, or tied it at least, after a parent's sack in the first quarter but it was judged afterwards as a fumbled snap by Huntley, which then turned the quarterback into a runner, and it didn't count. Everyone was celebrating that he tied it, and then they took it away from him. So he could have gotten the record, the sole record, yeah. Which is crazy. And it's pretty crazy that this guy managed to do this in 15 games. Now, he did do it in 18-week schedule. Do you guys think there's an asterisk there?
No, because he did it in 15 games. To me, that's just as good as doing it in a 17-game season. Like,
okay, I'm not going to tell you what I think of it until afterwards, but I'm just playing devil advocate right here. He wouldn't have been able to get the record, tie the record, if the 18th week wasn't there, though.
I guess.
Ken, what are your thoughts? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying he still did it in 15 games. Like, doesn't matter when those 15 games were, he still did it.
But in last year, he wouldn't have gotten the record.
But last year he would have been hurt for that amount of time too, though, right? Maybe
yeah,
not.
Exactly. I mean, he might not have been hurt, so maybe he would have got it, right? I mean, there's not.
Okay,
I'm trying. Change.
I know, but what I'm saying is that there's literally an extra week there that appeared compared to last year. Like, I get, like, yeah, he might not have been hurt last year and everything like that, but if we were just sticking to the regular rules where we didn't have the week 18, you guys are saying this is not an asterisk at all.
So did Strahan play in all the games the year that he set the record?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm going to challenge that. I don't think he played all the games.
All right. Can check that. I just think like if he played all the games, then he would have played 16. And if Watt does it in 15, that is
What I'm saying is he's still hurt. So without
No.
that 18th week, he wouldn't have gotten that sack record because
Right. I see what
immediately
you-
not there. So he would
yeah.
have finished with 1 sack less.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just because of the way, I mean, it's not like TJ had a choice that the season was going to be extended. And I know what you're saying, that he wouldn't have gotten that extra game, so he would have ended up 1 down. But because there was that extra game, I still think it's just as impressive. And the fact that he did it in the 15 as opposed to 17 is still pretty good with me. I like it.
So do I. I think it's a huge accomplishment, and I mean, to be injured and then still be able to do it, even if you want to count the 18th. But no, man, it's very impressive. I mean, the guy was ecstatic when he did it, when he finally knew that he got that 22 and a half. I was happy for him too, man. I think that was huge.
All right. So I agree completely with you guys. I don't think it's an asterisk. I think you can only be dealt with what he's played with. I was just playing devil's advocate there. But I believe like because you could argue
asshole.
you could argue a bunch of this stuff because like they used to play 14 games and stuff like that before they went to 16, right? Do you still consider Eric Dickerson's rushing record to be an asterisk? Because OJ had the record at that point. He did it in 14 games, and he did it with he got to 2,014 games. So I personally think that this is silly. This asterisk thing, even with the whole thing with Cup, if he got the receiving record, because right now he's had the best season for a wide receiver ever right now. He's got better than Jerry Rice, and he didn't get that. He was 18 yards off Calvin Johnson. Yeah, he had another game, but there was only 1 game where he was not below 90 yards. I mean, 1 game, he was only 1 game that he was below 90 yards, which is consistency. That's crazy consistency. And Kev, for your challenge, he played when he got the record with 22 and a half sacks, he played 16 games.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Yeah, he played the whole season. I just found that too.
Anyways, do you guys think that he deserves the DPOY, the defensive player of the year?
I do. I for sure think he should. I mean, for the accomplishment alone, I think he should.
And because he did it in 15 games.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind him on this. I think he's the odds man to get it.
For sure. I thought he should have got it last year. Of course, we know how that went down. He didn't.
Yep.
I mean, you and I, Jess, we fucking argued a bit last season. Of course, Aaron Donald got it. It was deserving for sure. But
he almost made a stake for it at the end there, and then TJ Watt exploded and was like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah. Didn't TJ have 4 sacks against Cleveland? Something like that. It was fucking insane this year.
Yeah, he there were some games where he had multiple sacks over 2. Like it was wild. Like against that one game, Peter lost, actually, I remember. Right after he had COVID. So he didn't miss a game because of COVID. He almost did. So he almost only played 14 games, and he had 3.5 sacks in that game against Lamar. And then he affected that pass on that 2-point conversion. And that's what a defensive player of the year does. He doesn't get a stat for that, but he fucking affects the play.
For sure.
And that's what AD does, right?
Yipper.
So
That's why he's helped me win my fucking fantasy championship this year. Leading my defense.
especially down the stretch there. He was fucking killing it.
Fucking right.
Anyways, to you, TJ, congratulations.
Cheers. Oh, fuck. Fucking splash all over the place. For those of you listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you can't see us. Sorry. We're doing the old video podcast now. People at YouTube get to see us waving, pointing, drinking. Kev's making a bunch of faces. He's now changed his wardrobe. And well, it is what it is. If you want to see what we're talking about, might have to move on over to YouTube. But if not, we're good with you listening on Spotify. We'd love it. We'd love it.
Carry
All
on.
media outlets.
Yes, that's right. All right. So next topic up. We had a long, extensive conversation about, I believe it was yesterday, is on Thursday night between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Montreal Canadiens. Philip Kurashev scored an overtime goal that was quite controversial. Two things with this goal. One was the potential onside call. Next was the net. Was it on or off? My first reaction regarding the offside, when I first saw it, 100% offside. The touches,
I was right there with you.
Yeah, so he touched it. It seems that he touches the puck when it's in the neutral zone, and it looks like he's fully in the attacking zone. Now, with old rules, he definitely would have been offside because his one foot was up in the air when the other one was completely into the zone. But with a new rule adjustment in 2021, they changed it so that it was more like the NFL end zone, where that blue line extends vertically. And as long as your skate is within that plane or behind that plane, I guess I should say, you're technically onside. And that was exactly the case here. His foot, after, we talked about it, we debated it for hours, and I watched this video, and it's tough to see, but by the looks of things, his foot is on the blue line. Although it's in the air, it hasn't passed the plane yet where he would be offside. So again, my initial thought was, no, this is offside. Fucking bullshit. Can't believe they let this goal through. But after looking at it and reading the rule and this rule change, which I had no idea about, and obviously that's why my first reaction was, nope, no goal. But after reading this rule and getting a handle on things, I have conceded it was a good goal, or at least it was onside. Let's put it that way. It was onside. Although I'm still not a huge fan of this rule change. For me, I would prefer to see, and apparently they do have, but I would have preferred to see blue line cameras like they have in the NFL with the pylon cameras that would run right down the end zone line. And that way you could tell straight away if a player's foot is on the line or not. Now, you could likely do the same thing with the plane, but I still feel like that's a little bit more subjective than if it's on the line or not, as long as you have perfect camera view down the line. Of course, you're never going to always get perfect because the linesman's in the way, there's another player in the way, what have you. So what do you guys think about the rule change? Do you think that the rule needed to be changed from having to have your foot on the ice and coming across the blue line, or do you think that the rule was fine? Personally, I think the rule was fine. I don't think it needed to be changed.
I like that new rule. One, because if you're trying to do like a little cross,
Kev likes a new rule. Holy!
If you're going to do a
Sky is
cross,
falling.
if you're crossing one another to make it like a design play, and for you to be able to do so, you're going to have that leg in the air so you can have the puck kind of go through you, right? So with that being done, I love this. I love the fact that your foot can be off the ground as long as it doesn't cross the plane. I think that's a beauty. I think they should have been doing this for the longest time.
Yeah, I wish Pete was here to give his 2 cents, being, the major hockey guy here on points and penalties. But fuck him, right? But he probably would have had a bitch beer today, anyways.
So
you'd have been drinking water today.
Near beer.
Yeah.
So I was with Yosh on this, and then I just kind of sat back and thought about it a little bit. Like, I understand what they're trying to do here. I think they're trying to get more scoring involved. And if a guy has to slow down to make sure his skate is on the ice and touching that blue line, he loses all his speed. And we all know how fast the NHL is now compared to
back in the 70s or the 80s,
well,
whatever.
15 years ago. Like, these guys are ridiculously quick now. And so I get why they're changing. They're trying to get more scoring, and they're trying to get more offensive possessions in the offensive zone, and those breaks will get him without him slowing down. What I want to see is like you said, you want that camera down the line. I was thinking like sky cams of some sorts.
That would
I
work.
think
That would be better actually, because then you
No
don't
one's
have
getting
anybody
away.
in your way.
no one's in your way. I think that's
Exactly.
for sure. Sky camera
Yeah,
would probably be
so
the
then you can
best.
see like, because you can see a guy just like if he's just putting his foot like out, like just on one skate, just sticking it straight out, kind of like a figure skater almost.
Mhm.
But if he's got the puck and he's running across the line, you could like, that's a big like 6 foot difference, with even bigger with a stick and the puck, right? Like if you can get that distance, that's a huge upgrade for the offense. So I was with Yosh. I was like, this is dumb. Like, but then I felt like I was like, oh, I'm part of that old boys club, so in changing it might be better. So I think this is I think now it's a good rule change. But we got to get better with the camera views for sure.
Right. And I think the camera views. So I was talking to one of our sub hosts, Graham. He came out a couple times in season 1, and he had told me that all rinks do have the blue line cameras. Now I tried to look it up to try and see, if he was just blowing smoke up my ass or what. But what I found was in 2016 that the playoff teams had installed blue line cameras. That was 2016. By then, you've got to think by now that all the teams have it.
Yeah.
But that view apparently is not available to TV at all times, which, okay, I understand that. But I mean, we're the reason you're playing. The fans are the reason you're playing. So show us and show. That's my opinion. So I think that if there are these cameras, and they need to be, the fans need to be able to see those views when there is a potential review like this, whether it be challenged or not. When there is some sort of review, the fans need to see it.
I mean, it's the NHL. They don't really courteous themselves to the fans a whole. Right? So it's got a lot of dumb rules, and we argued about this one too. We thought I was with you 100% of the way. This was a dumb rule, and then you just got to sit back, maybe read up on like some of the positives of it and everything like that. And
when I first saw it happen, I believe it was Hyman in the bubble playoffs. When I saw him do that, I'm thinking that's fucking brilliant. That was brilliant to be able to do so and have that play still be called onside. Brilliant.
I still think it's a bit more subjective than the foot on the ice.
Super subjective.
But if you could add the overhead camera to every rink, then I think you can negate that subjectiveness or some of it, and it would make better calls. So that's what we're all looking for, right? The right call.
And we want to see the evidence. We don't want to see it fucking hiding it just for your eyes only.
I mean, when the play that happened, that offside, when you and Pedro were at a hockey game, you didn't get to see what I showed you as a pitcher.
Right.
I mean, we mentioned that in the first episode or season 1. But I mean, I think you guys should be able to have that view like they do in football. Football shows all that views in regards to fans have a reaction before the fucking play is even said.
Right.
So I think they should do the same thing in hockey.
Baseball doesn't do it either. So baseball doesn't show the replays, anything that's being challenged, and same with hockey. When there's a challenge or just a review, they do not show the people in the rink. And I think that's stupid. Or the stadium, whatever. Yeah. I think that's dumb. I understand where they come from for doing that, because the fans are always going to see it the home team's way, and there's going to be cheering and booing. But I mean, that's what we're there for. As fans, we're there to cheer and boo. So let us cheer and boo.
But usually it's not the refs or umps or whatever making the call.
Not the final call. Yeah.
It's the people up wherever
in New York.
The New York making these calls, right? It's not supposed to be the people in the ring, because they're not supposed to be even bother with that, right?
Right. So and then the second part to that goal was, so not only was it potentially offside, but the net was also potentially off its moorings when this goal went in. So my understanding of the rule here is, if a puck is heading towards the net and the net is knocked off its moorings by a defensive player, as long as the puck continues past the goal line before a whistle, even if the net is off, the goal will be awarded. That's my understanding of the rule. what I would like to know is how, and I'm sure you guys won't be able to answer this, but I'd like still to get your take, is how can the NHL justify awarding a goal if the net is off its moorings? That when the net's off its moorings, the whistle's supposed to be blowing. So how can you award a goal when it maybe didn't happen, or when the whistle is supposed to be blown?
From my understanding of it, is as long as those peg posts, I mean, the ones that are in the ice and in the actual net,
Yep, those are
those things are still considered either attached to one another, then that basically net is still considered down.
So as long as they're touching each other,
Yes.
then they're connected. The net is still on its
Yeah,
moorings.
just on its moorings. Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's fair. From what I saw in this goal, the net was off its mooring for me, and then the puck went in. So I don't understand how they can justify saying, you know what, it was close, we'll give you the goal. I don't like that. I don't like just giving somebody a goal. Imagine somebody in football just, you know what, you were at the 99 3/4 half yard line. Like, you know what, you were close. We're just going to give you a touchdown. To me, that doesn't fly. You can't just give teams points. So what I would have liked to have seen is, because the defensive player knocked the net off, I would like to see a penalty given to that defensive player because he's trying to prevent a goal by means that aren't
the game.
Right. He's delaying game. Yeah, exactly. And trying to prevent a goal that are not in, not the way you're supposed to. Give him a penalty, and that obviously gives the other team the power play, and then score your goal, if you can. And at least that still gives the defensive team a shot at not having a goal essentially taken away, because you're giving the other team a goal just because, well, it was close. That's the way I kind of see it.
I was personally shocked. I was honestly personally shocked that goal was actually allowed myself. I mean, just by the replay that I saw.
Based on the moorings or based on the offside, or both?
I'd say based on the moorings, the goal. I mean, not the offside. The offside to me was fine.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't offside, but that goal, I was like, "What? Are you kidding?" But again, to me, I saw the posts are still connected between the moorings.
Okay. So I thought they were disconnected on the right post, I guess, if you were the offensive player coming in. To me, it looked like the right post was off.
And the puck just kind of like slipped past the fucking line too. It was like, you don't think that would have been fucking saved?
Right. If the guy isn't pushing the net off, he's probably doing a little bit more out front to stop that puck, right? That's why I think give him the fucking penalty instead, and then
that was probably going to get saved. I thought you gotta use some context in that. Like, I know we have to go by the letter of the law and whatever it is, but that it just barely crossed the goal line. Like, to me, that was brutal. It's like, oof. No wonder I'm seeing this replay everywhere. A lot of weird shit going on.
Yeah. So when I was talking to Graham about this one, he had referred me to another video where this basically happened with the Leafs. They scored a goal, and this one, it was basically the same. The ruling was essentially the same, but I'm watching this goal, and I'm not sure who was against now. I can't remember. Might have been Boston. But it was brutal to me. So they're saying as long as the puck is heading towards the net, and then the net gets knocked off, it's okay. It would be a goal. In this one that Graham showed me, and this was he sent me this video to kind of explain this the rule, I guess. And the net was well off, and then there was a pass made, and then a shot, and the shot went in even after the net was off, and they called it a goal. And like, you say, oh, you're a Leaf fan, you're gonna be okay with it. When I saw this video, I'm like, this is bullshit. There's no way that should have been a goal, because it like I said, I'll give you, if the puck is already heading towards the net and then it gets knocked off, the net does, okay, fine. Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe it's a goal. Like this one, Montreal, Chicago. But in the case of the Leaf, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's Boston. He shot it. I think it might have been Marner. Doesn't matter who it was, but they shot it, and it was well after the net was off its moorings. No whistle, goal counted. I couldn't fucking believe it when I saw it. I'm like, this is fucking worse. Like, we should be talking about this one that happened like 2 months ago. But obviously that's not our MO here. So, but
It wasn't an OT winner, probably.
no,
was it?
exactly. So no, it wasn't. But so anyway, I don't think that the goal should have counted on that. But again, if the like I said, just letter of the law, if that's what the rule is, I don't like it. I don't think you should be awarding goals for nothing or for maybes, because that's to me what it is. I don't know.
Or for slow rollers.
Yeah, like you said, Jess, you don't tell me somebody doesn't get their stick there in front of that puck before it slides over. If the net's not knocked off, I have a feeling somebody does. So, but anyway, that's about the gist of me for NHL today, boys.
Well done. Well done. All right, so we're gonna head into a game that was great because we're all deep down Bills fans.
Homers.
Yeah, for sure.
Into several games. Thanks, Yosh.
And they had a historic offensive night. They is what you did for like an MLB version, pitched a perfect game.
Yep. At least offensively.
I guess pitch is more defense. So, but offensively, they beat the snot out of the Patriots. So Bills become the first team in NFL history to pitch a perfect offensive game in the playoff win over the Patriots. So what we talk about for it being perfect, the Bills never punted, kicked a field goal, nor turned over the ball or turnover on downs. The first team in league history to go an entire game with no kicks, no punts, or turnovers.
Amazing.
Like,
Fucking right, that's amazing.
If TJ Watt did not tie the record, would be our fucking
100%. 100%.
And their defense was the MVP in last season.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good take from Yosh, because
yeah, you got to win it.
Yeah, you haven't won the Super Bowl, and I thought that they played, especially offensively, terribly. They played Atlanta Falcons and the Jets, notoriously bad defenses, and struggled.
Well, they showed up when it matters, right?
Yeah, man.
They were
That's all that matters.
they were so angry about the last time the Patriots played in Orchard Park that Mac Jones only threw 3 passes and 1.
Yep. Well, we don't talk about that in Buffalo anymore. So we talk about the time we beat the snot out of them in the playoffs.
Well, I think there was a lot of motivation here.
100%.
And then to go along with this perfect game so far, it's Buffalo's first negative play from scrimmage came to the second to final play of the game, which was a kneel down from your boy Trubisky.
Hey, at least Allen didn't get the minus yards, right?
Doesn't matter, man. The stats he put up, like, that does not hurt you at all. He's like
No,
5
for
TDs.
For sure.
A -1 yard. It's not even a -1. It's a point. Is it a minus?
It's about a yard. Yeah, 0.1.
Yeah. So,
or 0.1, -0.1.
Yeah. So the Bills scored their first 7 possessions, the first team in NFL playoff history to accomplish this feat. And so we're going to go over a few more things that happened here. So scored a touchdown on every single possession, minus the kneel downs. Averaged 12.3 yards per pass, averaged 6 yards per rush, did not take a sack, went 6 for 7 on third down, and the only third down they did not convert was the final kneel down of the game. Had more touchdown passes, 5 than incompletions, 4, and gained yards on 49 of 51 plays, excluding the kneel downs. And like we said, the only negative plays were the kneel downs. The 47 points were the most points a Bill Belichick team has given up in a playoff game, including his time as head coach and defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that is fucking totally
mind blowing.
Mind fucking blowing.
Like this, man. It was so good. So obviously, I was watching the game, and first 2 series they drive down for touchdowns. Third series they drive down. I'm like, there's no way they get another touchdown here. I'm like, they're going to stop them. They'll kick a field goal. Nope. Pretty sure it was Devin Singletary ran around the edge and scored. And just at the third one, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it's 21-0. I'm pretty sure that's what it was at that point. And I'm like, this game is already over and I can't believe it. And then they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And the defense wasn't half bad. Micah Hyde made a phenomenal interception in the end zone. Like,
I saw that.
over the
that was
shoulder catch. Like, it was beauty. I'm like,
a wide receiver.
he looked like the wideout, 100%. 100%. It was, they played great. Just absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to see them face, likely KC. But we'll see. They're it's scoreless right now between the KC and the Steelers. But that would likely be who they're going to play. And that's going to be a hell of a game. I'll tell you that much. That'll be a hell of a game.
Yeah, I'm so happy this happened against Bill. So happy.
Oh, yeah. Bill needs to take a fucking seat for sure.
And another thing about this game, this is the first game that Patriots did not have Tom Brady starting in a playoff game since 98.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting. So I think we can all agree Tom Brady made Belichick.
Or Belichick made Brady.
I think it's Tom Brady made Belichick.
I mean, Tom's still playing at the top of his game, and he's got the Bucks in the second round of the playoffs, and Bill's got his team playing golf. So
yeah, like he's. I think this is maybe second or third season, including when he was in Cleveland, that he's made the playoffs. So he's a one playoff win without Tom Brady. And in Cleveland, he wasn't that great either until his final season. Then he got traded to fucking New England.
So I got to ask you guys, what's up with this rubber kind of toy that was thrown onto the field?
oh fuck.
That's the Bills Mafia.
That's the
Bills Mafia just sit there and just, all right, we're just going to throw this little toy on the field and say kind of a screw you.
I mean, I don't know. It didn't look very little to me, man.
Do you know what color it was? Was it purple? Was it pink? Was it see-through?
It was Caucasian flesh color.
It was Buffalo Bill color.
Yeah, exactly. So what Kevin's getting at is a dildo was thrown into the end zone on New England's lone touchdown. Lone touchdown? Or one of their touchdowns?
No, they had two. So it was Kendrick Bourne touchdown.
Okay, so on one of the touchdowns, they threw a fucking a dildo into the end zone, and not just a dildo, like it had balls and everything. This fucking thing. So they threw it onto the field, obviously, as a fuck you to the Patriots. And so, Jess, I think you shared the video in our group chat, and I watched it 3 times. I'm like, what the fuck? Where is this dildo that's talking about? And then the third time I saw it laying on the fucking ground, right? Basically where it says Bills or Buffalo or whatever in the end zone. And I finally saw it. I'm like, that is fucking funny.
That is commitment from the Bills Mafia. Because they didn't score until like, was it the third quarter or fourth quarter or something?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah. Waiting and waiting and waiting. And then also you gotta bring that into the stadium, right? So like,
yeah. So like
he
was strapped.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you just put it down his pants and be like, yo, man, I'm big. What do you want? Who knows? But I mean, if it's in his pocket, somebody's going to give him the pat down and be like, yo, is this a gun in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? Like, what's up?
Well, we all know, like, going into the Bills stadium too, like it's crowded. So he was right up against someone with that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I thought that was pretty funny when you saw that, where you sent that video.
Oh, that was wild. Those guys are awesome.
I saw another video. It was before the game started, and Buddy's on his Bills Mafia RV, and he fucking jumps off the top of the RV and smashes into a table, which is normal. You know, smashing tables is normal for Bills Mafia, but off the top of an RV, I thought was pretty fucking good. He puts his beer down too. He's like, I can't jump with my beer. I got to put my beer down. I don't want to spill it. Yeah. And he jumps in it. So that's typical Bills Mafia. And it's they're going to be loud and proud if KC wins, they're gonna be loud and proud going to Arrowhead Stadium. I guarantee it. There'll be a ton of fans there. Should be pretty good.
So does anyone think that, I know we're going to go back to the offensive here, but can you think of another postseason with this kind of offense output?
So one that comes to mind for me. Sorry, Kev, go ahead.
No, I got nothing, man. I mean, the only one that comes to my mind is this one. I mean, this is. I don't think this is ever going to happen again.
Well, I mean, offensively, there's probably not one that's going to match this for a long time, if ever. But the one that comes to mind for me as a top offensive game in the playoffs is the 2009 NFC wildcard game. And so that was Kurt Warner's Arizona Cardinals against the second year Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers. And the Pack were down at one point 31-10, end up coming back to tie it, go into overtime. Rodgers throws a deep pass to Greg Jennings, or heading towards Greg Jennings, ends up throwing it long and high. 2 plays later, strip sack and returned for a touchdown by Carlos Dansby, I believe. Yeah, Carlos Dansby, and to win the game. So this game was 46-35. So there was 96 or 97 points scored, and it's the highest scoring NFL playoff game of all time. So obviously that's huge when you have the highest scoring. That's why I thought about it here.
How much was it, sorry?
I'm pretty sure there's 96 or 97 points total scored. One of the two. So for me, being a super offensive game, it's got to be that one. And then probably one game that everybody would remember has got to be the 2008 Super Bowl between Pittsburgh and Arizona. And that was the big one with Santonio Holmes in the corner. Right. And so that's another big offensive game. Although it wasn't massive, like total points and whatnot, just the end of it was just phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I remember that catch, man, where the guy was just sit there and just tippy toes, and
it was a great
catch. That was phenomenal. That was like, wow. Yeah.
Okay, I got one for you that's been fairly recent. So back in 2020, I guess, but it was the 2019 season. Divisional round, KC versus Houston.
Okay.
So Houston, who we talk about, it was Bill O'Brien and everything like that, and off the Belichick tree. So this is kind of shot at him too. I'm stretching here, but I think it's a shot at him. So Houston went up 24-0. And then the Chiefs came back and reeled off 41 consecutive points.
Wow.
Yeah. Cruising to a 51-31 victory. And
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's Mahomes in the playoffs, bud.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's what he does.
And that's why I have them to win it this year.
I saw you picked them to win. I was like, oh, that was a good pick. I would definitely win super homer. Me and Peter went super homer. But
I mean, all of our picks are not bad picks. Like,
oh fuck, but I'd already lost 2 of them.
No, I mean just mean the Super Bowl pick.
Oh, okay,
like the
gotcha.
final Super Bowl winner. Like each of those teams could win for sure. So I mean, there are definitely some teams that I didn't think had a chance at the beginning of the playoffs, but those 4 teams that we chose, the Bills, the Titans, the Rams, and the Chiefs, to me, could all easily.
It's nice that like we got all different kind too.
Yeah,
different
sure.
teams. For sure.
Wait till we have the pet pick. I mean, we do that every year, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to let our listeners / viewers know. Maybe we'll even video it this year.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'll video mine.
We videoed mine last year.
Did we?
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
Maybe we'll post it next year.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're running out of time here. So in order to save time, we've decided that we're just going to do one collective penalty box,
which is all agreed upon. I mean, this is fucking pretty thick. Whatever. Carry on, Yosh.
This is it's I mean, it's not horrible, but it's goofy for sure. So on Tuesday night, Raptors came up short versus Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, but that's not where this story ends. So due to COVID regulations, next to no fans in the stadium in Toronto, but one fan did get under Devin Booker's skin just enough where he had to complain to officials to have this fan moved from the location he was in. This fan causing Booker's havoc, none other than the Raptors mascot.
As he should be in the rights to do so.
So the mascot was jumping up and down, creating a distraction while Booker was attempting some game-sealing free throws, and got distracted, bitched and moaned, had the refs move him. The Raptor ended up going into the corner, just kind of sat there on a knee and was, I mean, it's a mascot, so you obviously can't tell exactly what he's doing, but it looked like he was staring Booker down. And so Booker said in an interview that his teammates do the same thing to him all the time while he's shooting in practice and whatnot. He complains to them too. He said, that's just me. Basically, he just wants to have nothing behind the free throw line behind the net while he's shooting free throws. And I can understand that. Why would you want somebody distracting you? Here's my thing. You are a professional basketball player. When there are all kinds of fans in the stadium, there are 200 people right behind you, screaming, yelling.
Don't they have those little clap
thunder
sticks?
Yeah, the fucking wiggly sticks, wacky wailing inflatable tube man is there.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of shit. You got, you would have the Raptor there jumping up and down. At Raptors game, you always got super fan. He's always fucking, chirping you and fucking exactly waving your hands, shit like that. And for this guy to be bitching and moaning about one dinosaur is, I mean, Shaq would say it's horror awful, man. It's so stupid.
Man, it's fucking right. It's horror awful.
And then let's
say if there's full people that were there in the stands, like you said, Yosh, they'd be doing something. And don't you think that the Raptor would be standing there doing the same thing?
100%.
Where he was? Are you going to tell him to fucking get out of the way then? No. Because you're, like you said, a paid professional.
Yep.
This distraction shit should not be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was a big thing, there wouldn't be glass as a backboard. There'd be a fucking aluminum or everything else, so you couldn't see the fans.
I mean, you're still going to see the fans, maybe not that high. I guess that's where you're looking. So
right. So I mean, it's a see-through glass, so you're going to see them. But I mean, like I said, they're paid professionals. I'm sure they do that all the time in practice and whatever else.
Well, and if you can't deal with it, if it doesn't work for you, even if you complain at your teammates should do it more.
Yeah.
During practice, so that you get used to it, because I don't want a guy that's flustered at the free throw line, especially at game sealing shots. He's flustered because some fucking red dinosaur is bouncing up and down, waving his hands.
Right, maybe you should go to a granny shot. Maybe you should go to a granny shot at that point then.
I mean, if it helps him, I guess, but
I mean, it's the only way to sit there and
favorite.
Yeah, man, it's all about the backspin, because it hits the back of the rim and it just spins right into the net.
So when I first saw this, like, you guys are a little pissed off. I laughed. I thought this was fucking funny.
Well, it's funny. I just think it's stupid that Booker bitches and moans.
Oh, he's a total bitch for this. And because he is this, it's caught on. Because
fucking right it has.
Indiana Pacers had everyone dressed up as a dinosaur. There's one with a guy in regular clothes, but with a T-Rex head. And the sign with the standing on a chair saying, "I am not a distraction," and he's
nice.
Not
That's awesome
too.
And then we all saw those inflatable T-Rexes or whatever. So there was those too. But see it, man.
He
when you start,
didn't he?
When you start
with the foul line, he says, "Come on out, bring him out, bring him out." When he was at the next foul line with the Raptor.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, yeah, because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point for sure. You've already bitched once about it, so.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny with the Pacers to do that, or the fans,
I'm
whatever.
So happy they did it too. And they're going to the playoffs. The Suns are going to the playoffs. You know you're gonna have way more distractions, and now you're just gonna see dinosaur face. I could see they're gonna be a top seed, so they're gonna play a lower seed. So they might just make dinosaur faces and then hand them out to whoever comes when they come to their building, right?
Could do, yeah.
Sure. As long as it's a Toronto one.
No,
Hey.
any dinosaur, man. He's got
Well, it's also-
dinophobia.
It all started with the Toronto Dino. So why
Holy
would you
fuck,
sit
there's a
there and have it?
Stegosaurus.
It'd be really intimidating if they all just like kind of just stood at them with their masks on.
For sure.
Yes.
That's funny. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they could. Oh, I guess no, they won't. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe they could play the Raptors, but they wouldn't play the Raptors until the finals in the playoffs. So that would be awesome, but that would actually be pretty fucking funny if that ended up happening. Somehow the Raptors make the finals against the Suns, and the whole fucking crowd, if we were allowed crowds,
Yeah.
would be dinos. 100%.
I mean, like they've been
Behind
playing
the
good,
net.
but I don't see them going to the.
no, they're sitting in 9th place right now. The Raps are.
Oh really? Oh, they were
Yeah.
higher during the week, but they lost against fucking stupid Dwayne Casey again.
Yeah, but then they destroyed the fucking Bucks. So
With
the
Giannis, with
Yeah.
Giannis there.
yeah, exactly. So they're a weird team. You know, they play to their opponent. That's the way I look at it, man. They always or seem to majority of the time show up against a top end opponent and play a half decent game. But when you got a lower end opponent, they're like, we'll look to the next game.
Other
Already.
than the Suns, there's been a lot of high end opponents that there's a lot of guys MIA because of COVID and stuff like that. So
For sure.
but this is the first time Giannis played, and I think the Raps are 3-0 against them this year now.
Nice. I didn't know that. That's fucking great.
That is wicked. Even though it's my pick to win the Larry O'Brien, but it's still that's awesome. That's
How is
awesome.
their geriatrics though? Are they doing any good? I think they're still just above 500.
Who's at the Nets?
No, the geriatrics.
Oh, the
Lakers.
fucking Lakers. I'm not sure where they're at. They're probably in a playoff spot, but
Fuck that. I don't think they're gonna make it. I still.
I
say they're
mean,
not gonna
like
make it.
that was a hot take, but like they have been struggling a little bit. But who knows, man? Like if LeBron's there, he's gonna help him out a bunch to get him there. And
for sure.
what Russell Westbrook is still there, so
Speaking of Westbrook, this was going to be a box for me if we were going to do individual boxes, but Westbrook, sorry, the NBA has said that the Spurs can't play Cold as Ice, sung by Foreigner, anytime Westbrook misses a shot. I think that's fucking like, I think it's funny as hell if they play Cold as Ice. I don't think the NBA should be stopping them.
No,
Like,
not at all.
Again, it goes back to if you can't fucking take chirping, if you can't take a distraction.
Did you say Spurs? Because I thought it was Sacramento.
Is that a challenge?
I thought it was the Spurs.
Is that a challenge?
You know what? I'm gonna challenge you. I think it
Yes!
was Sacramento.
We get a challenge so we don't get minus. We're so close to the end.
What are you talking about? I already had one. I
Oh
already
yeah,
had
you
a
did.
challenge
Oh,
today.
you did. You're right. Fuck. I
You
should get a
sucked you
minus
right.
just for that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Spurs, but hey,
I thought it was the Kings.
yeah, you know what? You might be right now. Fuck.
I honestly can't remember, but I was like, "What's that?" And Kev helped me out with a point, so maybe I might help you out with one.
I'm just gonna quickly look back because I know we had talked about this and the link was definitely sent. We shall see. I have a feeling you're fucking right.
He
now,
was really
Jess.
cool. He was really cool about it, though. Like the cold as
Fuck.
ice. He didn't even realize it.
You gave
No,
us
he
the
didn't.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, Jess. It was the Kings.
Woo!
Fuck.
Peter's gonna be pissed when he comes back on.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's like, you guys fucking gave him 2 points.
Oh fuck! He was chirping me for already starting off with a -2.
What? Really?
Yeah, he goes,
Oh,
we haven't
that's-
started the
that-
show yet.
that-
You're already at
that's-
-2.
That's fucking
Oh,
low,
it's
man.
just. I
Well,
am
he
who I
was
am.
he was already -2 before the show started last week because
Yeah.
of the bet. So
I know, but still, like he came in fourth badly last year. Well, last season, like
Yeah, well, wait about this one. Fuck off.
he's starting a new trend. Same trend, different year.
we'll have to get the line on here, and then
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to
Fuck
even
that
up
guy. That-
against him.
That guy irks me just like Brady. We don't need him on this, man. We're good with 3.
But he gives you points.
Oh fuck! He gets me early. He gets me, red.
Actually, gives Yosh points is what he does.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about these points. Let's go over our challenges and then season scores. So Jess, you are +2 today. So you had You beat Kev on the
Strahan 16.
Strahan sacks game. Sacks. Yeah. So Strahan did play 16 games in his record-setting season. So that gives Jess +1, Kevin -1. And then just now, Sacramento Kings, San Antonio Spurs. You beat me because I'm dumb. It was the other black, white, and silver team. And I got fucked on that. So,
well, the only reason I thought of that because the Sacramento sucks. So they're just trying to make jokes out of.
Yeah.
It's also as Shaquille O'Neal called them, the Sacramento Queens.
The Queens. That was back in the day when he was playing for the Lakes for sure. All right, so season stats then. I guess Jesse's leading the way here now with +4. Peter's coming in second. He's got a +3 because, of course, he got no points or no negatives today being off.
Oh, man, he's got all the right to be off today. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
He's going to be a busy fucking boy.
Better be back next week, though. Get your priorities straight.
I mean, I try to give you guys a head start.
Yeah, it doesn't help for me. So I'm at a -1 for this season, and Kev, with your negative today, that puts you at -3.
Yeah,
and that's the score so far for the season. Kev, we're starting off with a bang on the first
fuck
2
yeah,
fucking
bro.
episodes.
I mean, I'm trying to help out, just like last season. We got to get these, challenges in there.
Definitely got to squeak them in. All right, guys. So final segment here before we sign off. You guys know what it is. How was your drink?
Well, my drink was okay. Go ahead.
Well, sorry, man. My bad.
Usually he throws it over to someone.
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry, boys. Had a few of these pops today, so
same here. My electric unicorn. It's a quite Stravic unicorn there.
Yeah, it's
very
a good
nice.
can. Looks
It's
nice.
a very good can. It is a white IPA. Again, sitting at the 6.5 out of a Phillips Brewing and malting company. I like it, man. I mean, as much as I didn't like IPAs way back when, I'm saving these just for episodes because I'm kind of getting a good little flavor to them. Some are, some aren't. But this one's good.
Typically, IPAs you can go up. They usually, what you're getting.
Yeah,
typically,
but not all the time. I mean, I don't mind some kind of citrus, but not like a lot. And this is very good. I like it because it's a white IPA. It's not like a dark one. Enjoyed it, like it. I'll drink it again. And once again, there, Jesse. Obviously, you are feeling better. You didn't bitch out this week. And
I was trying to give you a head start, bud.
And what did you drink in there, Jess?
I am drinking Jumbo with the elephant, but not Dumbo, from Railway City in St. Thomas. It takes the cake this week in alcohol content too. It's a good episode, boys. Got a couple points. Got the alcohol content. Feeling good. And the beer itself, not too shabby. I would definitely have this again. This is as tasty as ever. Yosh, how was yours?
All right, refined full of Sarnia, van full of weirdos. It's a juicy IPA. Tropical aromas, citrusy, pretty good. I'm usually a fan of the citrusy type IPA, so this one floats my boat just fine. Like I said before, it's got a fun fucking can. It's got some weirdos, kind of look like clowns or whatever the fuck they are in a van. Kind of makes sense with the name of it. Van full of weirdos. But anyway, I was the bitch today. Yeah. I was the bitch today at 6.2%, but this stuff is really tasty. Really enjoy it. Definitely going to get it again. And yeah, that's about it for our drinks, boys. They're going down fucking great.
Real great.
Oh, yeah. Too fast.
Too furious. I'm too fast for y'all. Oh, sorry. That was a little remix by Ludacris there.
You get us monetized.
All right. So for everybody here at Points and Penalties, I'd like to thank you for listening or watching. Please subscribe on YouTube right down here. in that corner, right down there. And if you're listening, subscribe to us as well. Please give us a like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Points Penalties. And until next week, stay out of the
Stay out
penalty
of the
box.
penalty box.